My friends, if you've seen Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1, then you and me both know one thing for sure, and that is that Steve Harrington is definitely not going to make it out of this season alive. I'm sorry, but that's just the facts. At least I think so. That's another video. But what we're here to talk about today is who is Eleven's real father. And I think there are plenty of pieces of evidence revealed in the first part of Season 4 that tell us exactly the answer. Now, Eleven has had a couple father figures in her life. Dr. Brenner, who she refers to as Papa, and Jim Hopper, who took her on. But the show has yet to reveal who her actual biological father is. And I'm going to tell you outright right now, my friends, Eleven's father is nobody else than number one, Henry Creel, Vecna himself. Let me tell you why. So Stranger Things Season 4 explains a lot more about Dr. Brenner's weird and twisted experiments with the children in Hawkins Lab, and in doing so we learn that the powerful Henry Creel, number one, was the very first subject. We also learn that Brenner's ultimate motive, his goal, was to create more children just like number one, with these telekinetic abilities, psychic abilities, and as far as we've learned, around 18 children were part of those experiments, and they all had varying degrees of strength when it came to their powers, but only 11 had powers that could seemingly match the strength of number one's. We learned that 11's powers are far greater than all the other children's. She is special. And so the theory is that the reason why 11 is so much more powerful than her siblings is because her abilities could be biological and passed down through genetics. Henry Creel's genetics. So hear me out. Brenner, in his bid to recreate number one, decided to kick up his experiment a notch after the previous 10 subjects were proving not to be nearly as powerful. So in order to do that, he actually uses some of Henry's real DNA, possibly through a sperm sample, and artificially inseminates Eleven's mother, Terry, without her knowing, while she was a part of Project MK Ultra. And yeah, that's a pretty dark and sinister thing to do. But given Brenner's history at the lab, it's really not out of the realm of possibility to believe that he would experiment with number one's DNA in that kind of way. And if you don't buy that Brenner did it himself, it's also possible that Henry might have struck up a relationship with Terry during her time at the lab and possibly got her pregnant. And shortly after that, Brenner would have implanted the Soteria device into the back of Henry's neck. Now you're probably wondering, isn't Henry a little bit young for all of this when this all would have happened? But here's a quick breakdown. Henry was 12 years old in 1959, we know that, when he killed his mother and sister. 11 was born in 1971. Henry would have been around 23 years old at the time, and he would have been around 30 to 31 years old when he killed all the kids in the lab in 1979. And so the reason that Henry was so intrigued by 11, the reason that he was always willing to help her out when they were in the lab, was because he knew, or he sensed, that she was biologically connected to him and therefore capable of being as powerful as him. And throughout their conversations with 11, Henry, or number one, continues to make all these similarities between himself and Elle. In Henry's monologue at the end of episode 7, he also tells her that he's so very glad that she specifically was born into the program, adding that she was superior to all of the other children in terms of strength. In addition to befriending 11 in order to gain her trust and have her help remove the Soteria device that was holding back his powers, we also learned in the very final episode that number one initially spared Elle because he wanted her to join him. He viewed her as an ally rather than an enemy because they were alike. You also have these comments that might foreshadow things from Hopper in episode 11 about kids being hardwired to reject our fathers, to the way in which 11 rejected Henry's offer to join him on the mission. So what happened to 11's mother in Stranger Things? 11's biological mother, Terry Ives, began taking part in Project MK Ultra in the late 60s. The program was run by Brenner, saw Terry subjected to all these experiments involving intake of dangerous, mind-altering, psychedelic drugs, and placed into sensory deprivation takes. Terry was part of the project until 1971, when 11, or Jane, was born. And back in season 1, Terry's sister Becky tells Hopper and Joyce that Terry found out she was pregnant while taking part inside of the program. She was inside of the program when she became pregnant. Terry carried Jane while continuing on with the project, but after giving birth to her daughter, she was later informed that she had miscarried in the 3rd trimester. But as Terry very well knew that was a lie, to cover up Brenner's abduction of Jane, 11. And hear me out, there's one more reason why this absolutely makes sense, that Vecna is the father of 11. Stranger Things has kind of a love relationship for everything Star Wars, and Star Wars references can be found throughout the show, and this one fits perfectly. The Duffer Brothers have said that The Empire Strikes Back has had quite an impact on the 4th season of the show. They told IGN that we talked a lot about The Empire Strikes Back, which is the darkest movie in Star Wars. We talked about capturing what that tone was. And if you don't remember, The Empire Strikes Back just so happens to include the iconic scene where Darth Vader reveals that he is Luke Skywalker's father, a Mandela effect also. If they're really taking cues from The Empire Strikes Back, it could make a lot of sense that we would at some point see Vecna reveal to 11 that he is her father. We also know the name of episode 8. The next episode that'll be coming in part 2 is called Papa. Now obviously that could just refer to 11 and Dr. Brenner, who she calls Papa, or 11 and Hopper, maybe they're finally reunited. But there could also be another shocking dad reveal on the way for 11. Now my friends, keep in mind this is all just a theory. I could be completely wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is it possible that Vecna is 11's father? I hope you guys have a great day and like the video, and I'll talk to you again next time. Adios amigos. Check this video out.